Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. Got a brand new video for you, ladies and gentlemen. But before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like. If you're new to the channel, first time here, never ever seen any of my lineup advice videos, the only thing you need to do to be able to get this information on a regular basis is to become a subscriber to the channel. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe down below. Make sure you put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my lineup advice videos. With that being said, today's Thursday. It is January the 31st, 2019. We have a 6-game slate in the association. Let's get right to it. Last night, not that great of a night. Was a little up and down with some of my lineups. Mixed and matched a few guys. A couple guys didn't pan out very well. Miles Turner was a complete bust. It happens. You're going to have days where things are just not going to pan out. But again, it's all about the grind. This is a constant grind with daily fantasy sports, ladies and gentlemen. So hang in there if you're having a rough go. That's the only advice I could give anybody, is to just keep grinding. And, of course, keep listening to us here at DFS Zone and anywhere else where you get your information at. That's all we can do. It's just keep going. So let's dive into today's slate, man. So we have here at the top, at point guard, man. Today at point guard, look, there's a couple interesting plays. I mean, Ben Simmons, Steph Curry going against one another is a very, very nice game to watch. I don't know if I'm going to pay up for any one of the two today. I do believe they both will be able to get theirs and get maybe that 40 range or so. I don't think anybody's going to really go off there. But again, anything can happen in a given basketball game with talented players. So Steph Curry, you will have to probably give him the nod a little bit more so, because he is playing at home and he does play fairly well in his home court. But I'm going to probably, as far as a stud play here for me, if I'm going to lean on either one of the two, I kind of will probably favor a little bit more Simmons, just simply on the way he's been playing as of late. But considering that I want to pay up a little bit for Embiid and maybe even some Jimmy Butler in some of my lineups, I'm going to fade these two guys today in my major lineups. I will probably throw them in, sprinkle them in, maybe one line each in my quarter GPPs. Come down. The guys that I'm really targeting today are Rajon Rondo, which going back to the well with him again. He's in a good spot, of course, because he's going to get minutes. He's going up against the Clippers. He's going to get nice. His usage rate is not extremely high, but for the amount of minutes he's going to play and him having the ball and being able to be a good assist guy, good facilitator, I do like having some Rajon Rondo in my lineup. So Rajon Rondo as well as Patrick Beverley, to me, are my two key guys. I'm still not decided yet who will probably be my core guy, but by the end of the day, again, guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I've been tweeting out every day pretty much for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I've been pretty consistent with tweeting out my lines for the night. So make sure that you follow me on Twitter as DFS Zone, at DFS_zone. That information is in the description of this video. I've been letting you guys know as of late, and I keep forgetting to tell you guys early in the video, so this way you'll remember to do that if you haven't done that already. So make sure you follow me there if you want to be able to get those last minute information or any injury news that pops up. I'm trying to share that with you guys as well, because I know some people don't have the time to look at all this stuff. So make sure you are following me. All right, so I'm really going to be targeting more Patrick Beverley. I was on him the other day. He did very, very well for us, for whoever played him. He did well for me. Rajon Rondo definitely did not do as well for me the other day, but I do like both of those guys going up against one another. Patrick Beverley straight up is not going to battle Mr. Rondo. Rondo will more than likely be guarded by Alexander, who's been starting at the point guard position. Beverly's been starting at the shooting guard spot. So a lot of interesting things going around there with the injury news. So stay on top of that, because if Bradley is out today, there's a good chance that my boy Lou will probably step in and start. I'm not sure. I won't guarantee it, but it could be a possibility. If Lou Williams does start, then you're looking at Lou Will as well as Beverly. And both of these guys get a bump when there's no Bradley on the court. So we expect more usage and more time for all these guys, including Alexander. But I'm not on Alexander here. I do like Patrick Beverley at 6,000. You need 30. On DK, he's 5,300. You need only 20, like 26, 27 from him there. And I think that's very much doable, especially if there is no Bradley. And not only that, it's just simply on how well Beverly has been playing as of late. 35-plus minutes or more over the last 5 or 6 games. As you can see, he's had 2 double-doubles, 43-plus in 2 straight games. He did have a 54 point game here 6 games ago. So, I mean, he is playing very, very well at the moment, man. You can't really say anything negative about Beverly in this matchup going against the Lakers. He is home in away splits. He is at home. He's not shooting particularly well on his home floor, but nonetheless, the other night in his home floor, he did put up 43 fantasy points, as you can see there. 37% field goal percentage, 37% from three. He's shooting excellent from the three-point line. 7 points per game, 21 fantasy points per game. But like I said, he played well in his last game. The Lakers are coming in here. They're 8th in defending point guards, allowing in the last 5 games, they're allowing 40.9, pretty much 41 fantasy points. That's the second most out of all the teams on this slate today. That's the second most allowed by point guards to opposing point guards. 48, Mr. Simmons, 38, Curry, 59 to Westbrook, 75 to Harden. Again, when you say those are the 4 last opponents they have had, obviously these are 4 of the top point guards in this league. I don't expect Beverly in the same spot. But remember, Beverly is playing the 2, even though on FanDuel he is considered a point guard. So always keep that in mind too. In this case, if you wanted to, on DK, you can actually play him in the shooting guard spot where he is naturally playing right now for the Los Angeles Clippers. But I do like him here. Other than him, of course, like I said, Rajon Rondo is definitely in play for me. The Clippers are 20th in defending point guards, allowing 27.1 fantasy points per game as of late. Rondo has had 28 plus in 3 straight games, and he's playing over 35 minutes, which I definitely love the minutes factor. When somebody's priced this high, you want him to at least be getting 30 minutes or better, and he's getting more than that at the present time. Other than Rondo, I think Collison's in a good spot too. Orlando's been giving up quite a bit, 40 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards as of late. So Darren Collison can be a possible nice play here, someone to consider. I will be doing some more due diligence a little later when I come back from work, because I come home for a break. I'm home for about an hour or 2, and then I go back again. And then I come back again later on, and I always review a little bit more before lock. Dennis Smith Jr. definitely stands out to me as well today, even though I love Beverly a little bit more at 6K. But Dennis Smith Jr. could be someone. I think he's my 3rd guy that I'm targeting today at 6,200. You need 31. He's going up against Detroit, who has vulnerability there at the point guard spot there. The 24th in defending point guards thus far this year, and they have given up 35.5 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards over the last 5 games. Other than that, you got guys like White and Napier, both of them going against one another, only $200 a piece apart. I think White has done well against the Nets. Napier has been playing well, stepping in there for Spencer Dinwiddie. And then you got, of course, like I said, if there's no Bradley, there's going to be a slight bump opportunity for Alexander. But I think it goes more towards Beverly as well as Lou Will. And then, of course, down the bottom tier, you always got to consider Patty Mills and Forbes in his 4,300, 4,100 range for the San Antonio Spurs. It's tough to gauge who will go off and who has the better upside. I think Forbes, probably because he plays more minutes, would be. But DeMar DeRozan may be back. If DeRozan is back, it definitely hurts Mr. Forbes. Shooting guard. Let's go to shooting guard. At shooting guard at the top, you got Mr. Doncic. You got Russell. Russell's been playing well. His last 5 out of the last 7 games, I think, has been 50 points or better. So he usually goes for 50. If not, he's going to go for 20, 25. I'm not high on him today because of the possibilities of DeRozan coming back. But I think he is definitely someone you can consider. I do like Jimmy Butler in today's matchup against Golden State. I consider him like my 2nd favorite play here at shooting guard. I do believe that he is someone you can consider. He's been at 36 plus in 6 out of his last 7 games, and he has put up a 52 spot and a 54 spot in his last 2 meetings against this guy during this 6-7 game stretch. He's put up 52 and 54 respectively in 2 separate games. So Golden State 21st defending shooting guards, allowing only 23.2 fantasy points per game. But again, the last 6 games, the only top tier guys that they have faced have been Mr. Drew Holiday, who put up 49, and Bradley Beal put up 38. So again, I do like Jimmy Butler in this matchup, but my favorite play here has got to be Lou Williams. Lou Will, this is about the 4th or 5th time I've gone to him this year. He usually doesn't let me down. I was on him a lot last year as well. Probably considered the best 6th man in the NBA. But Lou Will, man, 27 plus minutes, as you can see in the last 3 games, and he's been playing really well. 31 points here, 21 here. 39 and 35 in his last 2 games. He had a 61 spot, smashed in his bookend of 33 and 35 here. I mean, he's a scoring machine, man. He can hit from 3, hits from the floor. I mean, if you go and you take a look at him a little bit closer here, minutes are there, over 27 minutes. Look at the usage rate, over 36% over the last 3 games. He's taken over 15, 16 shots a game. He's going to take threes. He's not been knocking them down as good. Hasn't been efficient from 3, but he gets to the foul line. He's a good free throw shooter. He brings you the rebounds. He brings you some assists. He definitely can defend a little bit. As you can see here, 4, 5, 6 steals over the last 4 games and 2 blocks. So Lou Will at 7,300. You only need 36 here on DK. 7,200. Pretty much need the same. I do like him better at the price tag for FanDuel. He's averaging 30 fantasy points per game. His home and away splits, 23 games thus far at home, 40% field goal percentage, 32% from 3, 18 points per game, 32 fantasy points. Versus the Lakers, 1 game this year, 61% field goal percentage in that game, shot 3 threes, got all 3 of them, 36 points from the floor, 50 fantasy points. He had a massive game against the Lakers the first time around. The Lakers are 28th in defending shooting guards, allowing 28.5 fantasy points per game to opposing shooting guards as of late. The last guy that put up some nice numbers again was, over the last 4 games, they've only faced 1 top-tier shooting guard, and that was Klay Thompson. He put up 51. So, again, Lou Will, for me, is in a great spot. I do like Lou Williams there. Other than Lou Will and JB, you gotta, down here at the bottom half, you always gotta watch out for guys like Bellinelli. Wesley Matthews had a big game the other night. You got also the 2 LA Lakers, Caldwell Pope or Hart. The tough thing is that you just don't know who's going to get more of the minutes. Last game, Hart got a little bit more minutes than Pope did. And you just never know who's going to go off. Sometimes it's Pope, sometimes it's Hart. So it's tough to go engage these guys. But, I mean, other than that, if you wanted to come down, Delon Wright always gets a few minutes. Aaron Holiday, to the injury to Oladipo, he's been getting at least, 18 to 20 minutes. He may be someone to consider. And he's been averaging about 16, 17 fantasy points. So he could at least get you that drop spot. Or you could put the pump play, whatever way you want to consider it, drop spot, pump play. He could be that individual for you. Let's go over to small forward. A small forward at the top, we got Kawhi Leonard and Giannis. And I tell you the truth, man, I do like Kawhi Leonard a whole lot in this game. He has played well. They both have played against one another very well this year. You gotta consider, giving a little bit of an advantage to Leonard. He's going to be pumped up. They're playing at home. Anytime a player plays at home against another good opponent, especially a guy like Giannis, you're definitely going to get a little pumped up. So I think Kawhi Leonard is going to definitely smash today, man. 10,100 is a tough price tag. I will have at least 15, 20% exposure to him. So I do like him there at 10,000. He has 9,400 on DK. And we're going to take a quick look at him here in his game log. And as you can see, 34-plus minutes. He's going to get the minutes. Look at the points. Almost nearly 1 floor point per minute in his last 2 outings. He definitely needs to get the blocks and steals back. We know that he's capable of doing that. That is where we get those extra fantasy points. But he's been at 48-plus in 2 games. We know he has 70-point upside. I mean, he's going to have tremendous amount of usage. As you can see, his usage rate is 29% or better over the last 3 games, as high as 36%. He's going to take 19 to 20 shots. You name it. You know what you're getting with Kawhi Leonard. He is the top dog here other than Lowry and the two front court guys, Ibaka and Siakam. So, I mean, and he gets to the foul line. He's a good free throw shooter. He gets you rebounds, gets you some assists, and he's a pretty good defender. As you can see, dud game in the last game out, but look at the games prior to that. He had 2 steals here, 4 steals here, 3 and 2 here. So, I mean, that's what we need to see. This is a big game today for them. Statement game against Milwaukee, another Eastern Conference top opponent. I definitely consider Kawhi Leonard definitely in play really big today. Home and away splits at home this year, 52% field goal percentage, 35% from 3, averaging 28 points per game, 47 fantasy points per game. In 2 games this year against Milwaukee, shot 47% thus far, 37% from 3, averaging 25 points per game and 51 fantasy points. His last game was a 59 spot. I really do feel he's going to get 50 or better here today. For me, playing him on a GPP, I definitely need him to get at least 58 or better, maybe even 60 would be wonderful or better. But I do like him here a whole lot. So Kawhi Leonard is my top guy. Other than Kawhi, I do like Brandon Ingram, and this is only if I love him even more so if there is no Kyle Kuzma, because obviously we know with Kyle Kuzma off the court, he is asked to do more with the basketball, meaning more scoring, more facilitating. He's going to get more usage. He's going to take more shots, and he's going to have a few more minutes on the court. So I would like him there if there is no Kyle Kuzma. He's 7,100 here, 7,300 on DK. You need 35 to 36 pretty much to meet value. And he's been putting up 41 plus in the last 2 straight games with no Kyle Kuzma. So he's definitely getting it done. The Clippers are coming in here, 17th defending small forwards, allowing 25.7 fantasy points per game. So they've been doing fairly well against opposing small forwards, but in the position that Ingram will be in, if there's no Kyle Kuzma, I think he will be able to at least meet value. Other than him, I would probably consider Rudy Gay at 6,300 going up against Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn has done well against small forwards. They are number 1 defending small forwards, as far as I know of right now, allowing only 18.5 fantasy points per game to opposing small forwards. And the last guy that they faced that put up any kind of numbers was Aaron Gordon, and he had a bad shooting night, only had 21 fantasy points against Brooklyn. So Brooklyn's getting something done right, but I do believe that Rudy Gay is someone to consider here. 6 games, he's been putting up 27 or more from the floor, and he has 40-point upside, and he's been playing at least 29 minutes to 30 minutes or more per game as of late. So he is definitely another option. At power forward, we got Ulrich at the top, Blake Griffin, Aaron Gordon. I kind of like the Toronto players because of the matchup versus Milwaukee. They both have played well against Milwaukee thus far this year, and it's a big game. This is a statement game. Milwaukee's going to want to go in there and show Toronto that they're one of the better teams in the league, someone to definitely, keep an eye on. In other words, watch out for us. Playoffs are coming. And Toronto's going to want to make the statement as well that you're not coming on our court. So I see Ibaka and Siakam. Now, this is the thing. Ibaka is here on FanDuel as a power forward. He is center eligible on DraftKings. So you can do whatever you think is best. I really think both of these guys will do well in this matchup. Ibaka going up against Brook Lopez. Remember, he's here at power forward, but we have to look at him as the center for the Toronto Raptors tonight. And I do like him there as one of the centers for today. But in FanDuel, I will have no problem at all, including myself in my quarter GPPs. I will have some lineups where I will have Ibaka and Siakam both as my 2 power forwards. And then this way you got Ibaka as a center playing power forward here who may put up 45-50 for you in a good matchup, and then maybe you can even shoot for an Embiid or someone else in the center spot, and you got 2-3 solid guys up front that can get you some huge numbers in good matchups. So Ibaka and Siakam are definitely my favorite plays. Either or you could take here, to be totally honest. Ibaka's at 7,000, you need 35. On DK 6,100, you need 30. On Siakam is 6,500, so $500 cheaper. If you didn't want to deal with Ibaka at all in this matchup here on FanDuel, no problem. Take Siakam at 6,500. You need 32. He's also 6,200 on DK, so you need 31. He has played 31 plus minutes. Both of them have been playing more than 31 plus minutes over the course of the last 3 games. Siakam, 4 out of his last 6 games, he's put up 32 plus fantasy points, and of course we know he has 50-point upside. Ibaka is also in that same situation. But let's just go over a little bit more Siakam here. His home and away splits have been pretty good. He's 58% field goal percentage, 42% from 3. All right. He's averaging 15 points per game, 31 fantasy points per game. The 3 games against Milwaukee. 3 games against Milwaukee this year, he's shot 65% from the floor, 39% from 3. He's averaging 2 blocks a game, 1 steal a game, 23 points from the floor, and 41 fantasy points. So Siakam has been doing really well against Milwaukee. And we're going to take a quick look, as you can see here. There goes the numbers with Milwaukee, 45, 36, and 47. You're going to get usage from him, 20 to 22% or better. He's getting 12 to 15 shots a game. I mean, he is definitely someone to consider here tonight. Milwaukee 26th in defending power forwards, allowing 26 fantasy points per game. Recently gave up in the last game. Blake Griffin had a poor game, 35 fantasy points, but that's still above their average. Mr. Jeremy Grant, 39. And Marvin Williams put up 27. That's the last 3 opponents. So Siakam having success with Milwaukee is one of the main reasons why I like him. And like I said, I do like Serge Ibaka here. Remember, he plays the 5, so you can pencil him in as a 5. And as you can see, his numbers against Milwaukee have been really, really good as well this year. 43, 45, and 45. So he's pretty much averaging about 44 fantasy points per game against them. And he's getting 26 to as much as 32% usage in those games and over 30 minutes of play. This was a poor shooting game, 9 of 21, 4 of 11 from 3, took tons of shots, but he went out there and still got 2 blocks, 2 steals, had himself 4 assists, 6 rebounds, and he was able to still get us 45 fantasy points. So Ibaka and Mr. Siakam in play. All right. Other than those two, Aaron Gordon has had a little bit of success against Indiana. I don't like playing a lot of people against Indiana, but he could be someone you can consider. He's 37 plus in his last 3 games. He's playing over 37 minutes, which is a lot of minutes, 37 to as much as 40 in his last 3 games. His usage rate is at 23, 24%. And look at the shots. So for that price tag, I mean, he's getting a lot of work. And I think he's worth the price tag. It's just a matter of can he get it done. And he did put up 47 against Indy the last game out in a losing situation where it was a blowout. He did play for 34 minutes in that game, shot 8 of 18 and 3 of 6. And he's played 46 and 40 in 2 games in his last 2 games last year against his team. So Aaron Gordon could be someone to consider as well. And then you always got to consider guys like Kyle Kuzma. If Kyle Kuzma starts today, then you fade off of maybe Ingram, and you pivot yourself over to Kuzma instead for 6,200, which is right now a cheaper price. So Kyle Kuzma will be in play if he is available today, and we know that there's no minutes restrictions. Other than these 2 guys here, I would probably go with Young if you wanted to go that far down, 5,900. And you always got to keep an eye. I mentioned this in the last time Hollis Jefferson played, to keep an eye on Hollis Jefferson. He's starting to get some minutes. So he's at 21 to 25 minutes right now. When we get closer to 30, it will be pretty nice. But he is very much discounted at 4,500. Definitely someone to consider. At center, at the top, man, I do love Joel Embiid here today because I think he's just going to want to ball out against Boogie Cousins. And, you can do the same. You can say the same about Cousins. This is going to be interesting, but Cousins has not been playing over 30 minutes as of yet. And Embiid is going to come in here. He's going to want to just be a beast. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm willing to put him in about 15, 20% of my lineups if I can get him in. So Joel Embiid is in play for me, 11,600. You need pretty much 56 from him, 57 to me value. And he's 10,100. You need 50 on DK. He's averaging 52, so his price tag on DK is very fair. 47 in his last game, 60 or better in pretty much 50. I would say 50 or better in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. 6 out of his last 7 games. You can't even count this game because he didn't even play. So 6 straight games, at least at 50 or better. So he should at least be a decent cash play in a matchup like this. This is the highest implied total game today as well. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity here for Embiid as long as he stays out of foul trouble, doesn't get into foul trouble. I do like him a whole lot here, man. Home and away splits for him, 46% on the road, 29% from 3, 13 rebounds per game. He's averaging 2 blocks, 26 points from the floor, 54 fantasy points. Hasn't played against Golden State thus far this year. This is going to be the first game out against Golden State this year. He didn't play well against them last year, but he's going up against Cousins. This is going to be nice. This is going to be a nice game to watch. I'm hoping that I can stay up long enough to watch a little bit of this game because I'll probably be dead tired by 11:30 or so by halftime. Other than that, Mr. Drummond here against Dallas could be an interesting play. 9,200, need 45 from him. He's got 50-point upside. Mr. Turner, shit the bed on me last night. Didn't play a whole lot of minutes. Didn't put up a whole lot. Watch him tonight play over 30 minutes. So, it always happens. Zubac will probably be the next place. Like I said, I do like Ibaka. So remember, Ibaka in the power forward, I do like him as a center today. So I'm willing to put him in that power forward spot with Mr. Siakam. Just to give you a little bit more numbers on him, he's averaging 32-plus minutes in the last 3 games. His usage rate is at about 21%. Home and away splits, 51% field goal percentage for Ibaka, 26% from 3, 15 points per game, 29 fantasy points per game. Versus Milwaukee, 3 games, 54% field goal percentage, 37% from 3, 1 block, 25 points, 45 fantasy points. All right. Mr. Zubac here will probably be the lowest guy I will come down to as far as price. If we know that he's going to start again, I will be interested in having him in some of my lineups at 5,200. You need 25, 26 pretty much to meet value. And he's going up against the Clippers. They're 26 in defending centers and allowing 42 fantasy points per game. And when you're giving up that many fantasy points per game, you give me a center that has at least enough of a skill set against their centers, which I think Zubac does have more than enough skills. I think he'll do just fine. He should be able to get his 26 or more in this matchup if he is starting, and we know that he's going to get at least 25 minutes or better. So he is someone to consider. Other than that, that's pretty much it, man. I can go on forever here, as some of you will know, and I try not to get these videos to be too lengthy. But again, that's pretty much it for today, man. I wish you guys a lot of luck. Remember, follow me on Twitter. I will have my latest lines about a half hour to 15 minutes or 20 minutes just before lock. It will definitely be up, my tweet, because throughout the day things can change. Some injuries, some players can sit for rest, and it can change everything all over again. So this is one of the reasons why I'm engaging more with you guys on Twitter. So make sure, if you have not followed me yet, as of yet, on Twitter, make sure you do that. This way you'll be able to get that information. All right, with that, I bid you guys a farewell. Wish you a lot of luck tonight. Make some money, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.